Alright, we got 1 month. We gotta have this sumbitch up there at the IX Center. So we gotta get busy. We ain't even got time to bullshit today. Today, we gotta fix the headliner edge, put the shift pin in the shifter. We gotta cut the rear spring handles, hook up the tranny vacuum, hook up the temp sensor, put some grommets and O-rings in the front, start getting this thing lined out. We get all that done, we're gonna mount the passenger side seat. I better write that down, huh? Because there's more to come. Let's see. We better just add to this damn list. Alright, so I'm gonna get busy. Not sure what I'm gonna do first, but most likely that shift pin while we let it warm up a little bit in here. So get to work, boys and girls. Alright, so here we are. We're gonna try to mount this hitch. Some friends, we call them those people, gave us a hitch off of their Falcon sedan delivery. We had to modify it a little bit, but I think I want to get it mounted so that I can do the fuel, and I got to put a battery switch in here and stuff like that, but I need to get this mounted, I believe, so I can see where I can put that stuff. So first step is to take off the bumper. There's bolts up there. We got to take that bolt out, one on each side, and pull the bumper off. Alright, well, we got the back bumper off. Now we got this heavy ass hitch that our friends gave us, and then we had an old hot rodder modify it for us. Well, we got our holes drilled. Well, marked. We haven't got them drilled yet. But the other car came out of storage today to go and get to the house garage so I can get it cleaned up, so we can take it to the Piston Powered Show. Let's go see what that is. There she is, out of winter hiatus. Well, I'm gonna take this car home, get it in the house garage so we can start detailing it. There's the old beast of a truck. Gotta get it ready to go for summer soon too, but for starters, we're gonna get that old girl cleaned up and ready. Alright, it's Monday morning. We gotta go to work in a few hours, but we're gonna start on this little Fairlane here. This is a car wife's having in the Pistons Power Show. So I gotta do some detail work, the oil change, grease jobs, stuff like that. Get her all ready to go. We bought this stuff for the wrapped car. So we're gonna do that. We got a bunch of this just to wipe it down and get it cleaned off a little bit before we apply the ceramic coating. We're going to start with this rear quarter panel. We're going to do one section at a time. This is a very small garage. We'll do the quarter panel, the door, the fender, work our way down. And then we'll turn it around and do the other side. We'll do the wheels and the chrome on this side, get it all detailed, the inside door panels. Give it a little vacuum, clean up the inside and all that. Then we'll do the other side. And then we'll slowly work our way around the car. It's tight in here. We can only do one side at a time. Alright, so Bagels is checking it out, telling me what I need to do. We're cleaning up a little bit in here, getting ready to get started. We wiped down that whole quarter panel. We're going to let it dry overnight. So we're going through our cleaning products here. We got a lot of shit. But I prefer Chemical Guys. I use a lot of Chemical Guys products on my cars. A lot of this other stuff is stuff we've won at car shows over the years. Stuff like that. But right now I'm getting all my Chemical Guys over here so I can knock this car out real quick. And I got to start detailing the Falcon. So we're getting ready. Some Chemical Guys stuff ain't so good. I'll tell the truth about that. Their metal and chrome polish, I don't like. I use white diamond. It's the best and easiest I found so far for me. Their interior stuff is mediocre. It's okay, but it's not great. I prefer good old-fashioned tough stuff. This is what I use a lot of. Well, I'm going to get back at it here. Miss Bagels is going to keep checking out the car, picking out any bad spots before we get started here. Uh-oh. Looks like she found something. I better check it out. So this is where we are with this thing. We got our hose drilled. One's a little off. We got to massage it a little. We got to clean up this back panel. And then we got to install our battery switch and our fuel filter. Get this thing ready to start. So I'm going to start by taking the hitch down, hogging out the hole on the passenger side, and see where we are. Alright, our holes for the hitch are mounted. And we would like to thank Kim and Chris for the hitch. They gave it to us. They have a 61, I believe, sedan delivery. We're going to clean up this area a little bit, then we're going to reinstall the bumper. We had to put the hitch up to figure out where we're going to put the battery switch to run the battery cables down the side of the car and the fuel lines where we're going to put the fuel filter. Well, let's go check out our list for today. It's a beautiful Monday. We got the big door open. Had some donuts the other day. That's trash now. I think that was Sunday. Maybe Saturday. I don't know what day it was. I ate a lot of donuts. I like donuts. I was good for a while, but that's not happening no more. So we still have the headliner. Oh shit, we did something. I better get a marker. This shift pin is in. So we got to figure out the rear end, so that's what we're doing next. We're going to put the bumper back on, stuff like that. It's a beautiful Monday in Ohio. Well, we're going to get back to work. So we're just going to use some simple spray 9 to clean up all this filth back here before we put the bumper on. There we go, we got that wiped off. This car cleans up okay. The paint feels like 80 grit sandpaper, but it doesn't clean up too bad. We're going to put the bumper back on, see what we can get going. There's the bumper. It'll go on pretty easy. Then I can jack the car up and mess with the rear suspension. There's no good place under this thing to put the jack stands and access the ladder bars and everything. Hopefully we'll get it jacked up and get the suspension figured out. Then we're going to take the ladder bars off and take the rear end out and work on those separate away from the car. And that'll give us plenty of room to run our training cooler, battery cables, fuel lines, all that good stuff. Alright, there's our fancy hitch. She's all mounted. So now we're going to rip the rear end out of this thing. It doesn't have a lot of suspension, and I figured out why. The shackles, I don't know if you can see them or not, are pointing the wrong way. So once we get it in, get the rear end out, and when we put it back in, we'll adjust that part. But once I get the rear end out, I can run the wires. And like I said, that'll give me a spot to jack it up. We don't have a lot of suspension travel due to the shackles pointing the wrong way. So we're going to have to remember to make sure we put them in the right way when we take the rear end out. Which is what I'm going to try to do now. I want to get the rear end out so I can run the battery cables and fuel lines and mount the training cooler, and nothing's in my way. I'll undercoat the back half. Well, one more spring bolt and it's out. The whole stinking rear end is out, and we can get that set up. The rear end is out. I got one more bolt and a leaf spring, and then I got to start cleaning up. On a good note, The leaf spring eyelet bushings are good. We'll check the top shackle bushings. Get this rear end out and get it together and get it back in. But that's why I had to put the hitch on. Holds up the car good. And then I can run my battery cables and my fuel lines real nice. So it's gonna work. Alright, here we go. We're gonna try this stuff out here. We're gonna do the passenger side rear quarter. We got the box, we got the directions, we got our little microfiber towels to smooth it out. We got our applicator, we got our juice. So it says add a few drops. Go back and straight for, back and forth motion. So we're going to try this rear quarter panel and see how it does. Here's how it looks now. I don't think it's supposed to make it shiny. It may make it shiny until it dries. But we're going to see how hard this is to do. And if it's not too bad, we're going to clean more of the car and do the whole side tomorrow. Okay, so we did this quarter panel. It's very hard to see this stuff. Very hard. So now, we're going to wipe it off with this microfiber. Like they said to do. To buff it up a little. And then once it dries, it's supposed to look nice. We'll see how it does. Alright, it does have a little bit of a sheen. It is really slippery. I took this little thing and wiped off the excess like it said to do. So now we're gonna clean the rest of this whole side with some vinegar Windex so we can apply the coating to this door, and the front fender. This is our push lock hose. No, that's upside down. But it's flame resistant, retardant, whatever. This is NHRA approved push lock. Somewhere on here it has a brand. It has all these numbers. I think it's Gates. Yeah, it's Gates push lock, I believe. And this is some heat resistant wrap due to where the exhaust is going to be. I'm going to put the hose inside of this that goes under the car to the back. It will help with the heat, and cold fuel is good fuel supposedly, so maybe it'll keep it a little cooler. I did not cover the lines going up to the engine. I may cover them, I don't know. We'll see how that goes, due to the fact that if they want to inspect it, they can see what it is up there. So we're back out here this morning on the Fairlane. Sun's coming up. I was worried this was going to look striped or something, but it doesn't. It looks pretty good. Brought a little light to check for the stripes. The only problem I noticed with this is if you look at the rear quarter, I don't know if you can see it in this camera, it now looks a shade darker maybe? It's got a little bit of a color difference. That's noticeable. So now we're going to do this side, the door, and the front fender. And we'll let it dry overnight. Then we'll do the wheels and the windows. And then we'll do this side on the interior. I only work on this in the morning before I go to work. So let's get on it. So there it is. The whole passenger front fender and doors and rear quarter have been done. And there is some, I don't know what you call it. I wiped it off. A light buff. Hopefully when it dries, it will match this rear quarter with the color. It's already looking okay. I'm going to try to clean these things with some hot water and let it dry. And then tomorrow we'll do the wheels and the windows, and then we'll start on the inside. I don't want to touch this till it dries, but here we go. Alright, it's Wednesday. We had some shenanigans yesterday. We're going to get this rear end apart. We're going to take all this brake shit off, pull the axles, pull the center section, see what gear we have, see what we're working with. If the center section is anything like the rest of the car, I'm sure it's a Lincoln locker. I mean, backing plates are loose. Missing a bolt here. This backing plate is loose. I'm beginning to think this car is a pile of crap. And inside of here, zero backlash. But we're going to rip it apart and see what we can find. We sent some questions out on the face page about what to do with our shock when we install this floater kit. If anybody has any input, that'd be a great help. Alright, here we go. We got the brakes off. We got the axle out of the other side. We have a 410 gear. And we have a stripped out bolt right there on our housing. Nut, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to take some vice grips to that, and then we're going to pull this axle with said slide hammer. The brakes all looked okay. I mean, they're old and dingy, but they look fairly new. But there's a lot of evidence of leaks in here. So we're going to get back to work on this thing. We're going to get this axle out. We did the spin test for the gear ratio, and I believe it is a 410. We will know more once we get it apart. But for now, we're going to pull this axle, get this stripped out nut out of here. Trying to hold a camera, trying to hold a vice grip, and trying to hold everything is very tricky. But you just attach your vice grip here, and it turns. It just won't come off. It's a 410 gear with a mini spool. Down there is a 279 gear 4 to 8 inch open out of a 63 Meteor. This is a Power Tracks posi unit for a 4 to 8 inch we're going to use. We're going to switch that one to a 355. Next up, we got to find axles. Alright, here's our big bad list. We want to get the rear shocks in, trans cooler, battery switch, ground, fuel line, battery positive, battery negative, alternator wire, main fuse, fuel gauge wire, block off to the fuel tank, factory pickup, and the fuel tank vent. So, as of right now, this is priority number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. Mike's coming today. It's Thursday. Those are things where I need a guy under the car and on top in the trunk area to tighten the bolt. Obviously, my fat ass can be in one or the other, but I can't be in two. So those are going to be our priorities. I'm going to start getting things ready. Alright, so here's a bunch of parts. Battery switch, trans cooler, shocks, fuses, all that good stuff. So first thing I'm going to do is start working on this battery switch while we wait for Mike. I'll probably get under there and cut off the gas gauge wire and mark where this goes also, the trans cooler. Alright, today's adventure, we're going to do the wheels, me and Bagels, and the windows and chrome on the passenger side here. And then we'll go to work on the inside. And again, we're going to use some Chemical Guys stuff. That's kind of my thing of choice. So we're going to move some of this stuff out of the way and get what we need and get started. Come on, Bagels, you ready? First thing we're going to do is the windows. We'll do these windows. We got some super cheesy just window cleaner. We're going to clean them first, then we'll treat them. Alright, we got our Chemical Guys little apron thing on so we don't mess up that ceramic coating and scratch up the car. This is what we're going to treat the windows with. It's Chemical Guys Hydro View glass cleaner, protectant stuff. Bagels approves it, but she sees something out there she wants to go kill. Probably a fly, a spider, who knows. Okay, so we did our Hydro View on our glass. You just like regular window cleaner. You just spray it on, wipe it off real good, buff it a little. Get her cleaned up to the best of your ability. Now we're going to do all the bright work on this side of the car. We got some white diamond metal polish. And we're going to tackle the bright work. Somewhere around here I have some spray stuff for stainless. It doesn't work bad either. I'll probably use some of that too on there, because it does pretty good. Right here. This is just some cheap stuff from Home Depot, but it works pretty good. Also, while you're doing one of these cleanup jobs, keep all your rags separate. You don't want to use the window cleaning rag on the chrome and then go back to the window, because it just makes one hell of a mess. This is how I do it. I rub that white diamond, kind of buff it on there a little bit. The only one I didn't do yet is the very bottom rocker panel trim. I'll do that when I do the wheels, because I'm fat and lazy and don't want to be bending down there 99 times. You let it haze over a little, and then you get your good towel, a clean one, and you wipe it all off. You rub it on real nice. I don't know if it really does anything. This is just what I've always done. Them spotlights are about 20 years old. People that know us know we drive the snot out of this stupid little car. They've been on 3 or 4 different cars of ours, and then we put them on this one. Right, now that we have all of the shiny stuff rubbed off, we're going to put some Hydro Speed quick ceramic detailer on all the shiny stuff. Now we're going to move on to the wheels. This is the wheels we're going to clean up, the wheel and tire combo for this car. They're just base coat, clear coat. Bagels is checking out the back one to see what we got to do. While we got our fat ass down here, we'll do that rocker molding. So I always find a little box, throw all my shit in there so I can slide down and along as I go. With some vinegar Windex in the tire. And then we'll apply some products. Windex on there. It looks okay. Always, when you're done with a product, what I do, and I'm nobody special, fold up the towel, drape it over top of that jug of stuff, so then you know that towel was used on that. Our next step, we're going to apply some Chemical Guys Hydro Spin ceramic wheel coat and detail. The directions. Always ensure the wheel is clean, thoroughly washed for best results. On a microfiber, apply, work the wheel, then within 30 seconds or so, it could be a little longer, wipe it off. We're going to do the tires. We're going to start off by using the Hydro Shield vinyl rubber plastic ceramic coating. Same thing, you just spray it on, let it sit a few seconds, minute, whatever, wipe it off. These are a lot of little processes, and with my unprofessional experience, I found when I start out doing one of these, cars. It stays cleaner longer for a driving car. And when I go to a car show with the wife or cruising, we just gotta wipe it down. It does a pretty good job of not letting the dirt and slime stick to it. I'm probably wasting a lot of time, but it's the process I go through, and I've been doing it for years. Our next step we're going to use on this tire is this clear liquid, Extreme Shine. Alright, there's one super shiny tire and wheel, clean, treated, ready to go. So now we're going to do the rocker panel molding and work our way down the car to the back wheel. This wheel treated, the first step of the tire cleaning process is done. Now we're doing the Extreme Shine. And I know the tire's low. I haven't done the maintenance part yet. When we get a nice day, I'll roll it outside, check tire pressure, change the oil, check transmission, grease it, all that good stuff. When you do this kind of stuff, always spray the product on your towel. Saves a lot of mess. Secondly, on these old cars, when you're reaching up in here to get the top of the tire, that'll tear the shit out of the back of your hand. Be careful. This is real metal on an old car, and it is sharp around the edges. Today's video, we started detailing Tilted, getting it ready for the Pistons Power Show. We started ripping apart the Falcon. Next week, we'll show some more detailing and some more on the Falcon. I stop these videos at about 30 minutes. 1, I don't like to watch myself. 2, I hate sitting in that stupid chair doing editing stuff. So by the time 30 minutes comes up, I'm done. I'm bored. It's time for me to move on. So I figured you guys are probably the same way. But remember, like and subscribe, Side Money Garage. Leave a comment. Do something with your life already. We only have one time on this earth. You better make the best of it. Till next time, thank you. Like and subscribe, Side Money Garage. Leave us some input. Say hi to Sonic. Do something.